Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Silent But Obedient. At this point in the American timeline, it's starting to feel less and less like the land of the free and the home of the brave, and starting to feel more and more like the land of the captive and the home of the bisexuals. Join me as we dive deeper into the paradox of American freedom. The way that we tend to view liberty has changed a lot in the last few hundred years. I mean, when you look at the founders and the men that they were influenced by, whether that be Greek tradition with Aristotle, Plato, and Socrates, or in Christian tradition with Aquinas, they don't think of liberty to mean total freedom, but rather discipline and the ability to manifest that discipline in order to be truly free, and free from your passions and desires, so that you can avoid becoming a slave to your desires. The founders didn't enshrine liberty into our founding so that we could go around and do whatever feels good. They gave it to us so that we could pursue happiness. And when I say happiness, I don't mean the shallow, empty, desire-riddled happiness that we think of today. I mean happiness in the sense of a full and virtuous life. Passions come and go, but reason speaks to the long-term purposes. And it turns out that you need both in order to live a full, moral, and stable life. In order to have true liberty, you must educate yourself in order to become a disciplined, functioning member of society. And as it would turn out, in order to have a stable and moral society, you need stable and moral people. And that should have been enforced by the institutions, but they were all destroyed by progressivism, so now we're left with nothing. Things such as the education system and the church, these were supposed to help uphold the moral society. But now, we are approaching more of an amoral society. And things like conservatism, by definition, especially in the American context, seeks to preserve a society that was happy, prosperous, moral, good, and religious. And it was that way because we had structure in society, and so you take out the structure, and what are you left with? Not much. And a lot of so-called conservatives nowadays just want to continue to define freedom as the freedom to pursue their preferred method of self-destruction. Do you think that the founders gave you freedom so that you could browse through TikTok and mindlessly scroll through social media, ultimately shortening your attention span to the point where you can't even pick up a book and read it? And so what does this do? It turns us into slaves to our desires. And if you're a slave to your desires, then what's the point of being free anyway? Apps like TikTok are quite literally a cancer to our already degrading culture. And at this point, we aren't even a serious country anymore. I know that might sound strange, so allow me to explain. We are not a serious country anymore because we have no will to survive, no sense of who we are or what we're about, no idea of what our culture should be because we aren't even allowed to have a distinct culture. We are not a serious country anymore because no serious country would so clearly be the mastermind behind its own defeat. And now we've gotten to the point where the government is trying to mandate vaccines, with the push not so surprisingly coming from the hypocritical left, who constantly and persistently preach a bodily autonomy and the supposed right to choose. So the party that's supposed to be the spearhead for medical freedom is suddenly backing down on this issue. And to be honest, my issue with the vaccine goes far beyond my issue with the actual vaccine. My issue is that I can't think of a single greater concentration of all the worst people in the world advocating so heavily with the help and manipulation of mass media to persuade people to do something. That is my issue with the vaccine. But their encouragement goes far beyond persuasive media. They're actively buying people off, whether that be with lottery tickets or otherwise. Now in New York, they're now paying children to get vaccinated. New York City has begun offering $100 to incentivize COVID-19 vaccines for kids ages 5 to 11. This has gone beyond the government looking out for its citizens' general welfare. I mean, if anything, it feels like a psyop. We have to understand that it is no longer America versus those who wish to destroy her. It's America versus those who wish to destroy her, aided by half of America. And that is no easy battle.